Hello, everyone, and welcome back to a brand new episode of Loud, a pop culture podcast. This is for February 13th, 2022. I am your host, Tomye West, and joining me, as always, is my co-host, Alannis Maximus. How you going, Alan?
Yeah, not too bad. Yeah, living the dream.
Anything interesting happened this week to you?
Not a great deal. I went down to the shops earlier today.
Yep.
Sorry about that. Saw a bunch of people trying to make Eshe sound cool, which is interesting. I don't know why you would think you're cool if you're an Eshe.
What's the definition of an Eshe?
Basically your typical kind of station trash, mall rat. Yeah. Dropkick.
I've dealt with my fair share of Eshes before, and not just that, I've been one of them, I think.
Yes.
At some point in time, I'm sure I was an Eshe. I was probably an Eshe before this life. So today on a Louder Pop Culture podcast, we're going to be discussing a few things, including the return of Futurama. We're going to be reacting to the Jurassic World Dominion trailer. We're also going to be reacting to the Lightyear trailer. We're going to be talking about Wayne's World 3 being a possibility, maybe, just maybe. And we're also going to be talking about how we almost had an Uncharted Sully game. But first, we'll go over the rigmarole, and that is that if you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe right now. Press the subscribe button. It would help us out a bunch. It gives you a chance to be in our competition where you get to win one of my personal cymbals, Soultone Cymbals, my series logo on them, Pablo Escobar logo, my signature, and yeah, it's a 10-inch splash. It's a cool symbol, so you should definitely jump in and grab an opportunity. And all you have to do is subscribe, because we'll just pick a lucky subscriber that gets to win this symbol. And we're getting close. We actually reached, I think, 77, 78 subscribers today. So we're getting much closer. So the quicker that everyone does this, the quicker I can frisbee the symbol off over to you guys.
We'll just throw it in the direction.
Exactly. And also go over to our Facebook page and like our Facebook page and follow our Facebook page so you can keep up to date with everything that we're doing and delays and whatnot. I've been a little bit unwell lately and going through sort of a transitional thing with my health at the moment. So, I'm doing the best I can at the moment with how I am at the moment. So if everyone just could please, bear with us if we are a bit behind on something. We'll make sure we're getting there. We'll make sure we'll try to stick to as much consistency as possible. All right, so we'll get into our first story for the day, which is Futurama possibly making a comeback. Now, I only just heard about this, and I'm going to bring up a video of Futurama to play while I read this article, obviously. One sec for y'all. Yep, muted. All good. All right, so this article is from IGN, and the article reads like this. This is from Kat Bailey, and Futurama voice actors support John DiMaggio as hashtag Bendergate trends on Soultone, and it says, yesterday's news that Futurama is being revived again on Hulu was met with joy from fans of Matt Groening's animated sci-fi comedy. However, they quickly turned to frustration when it became clearer that the major cast member hadn't signed on yet. John DiMaggio, the voice of Bender. Since then, DiMaggio's absence has sparked a major backlash under the hashtag Bendergate, which is lame, but whatever, will keep this going. Fans contend that the new series won't be the same without DiMaggio's Bender, who has delivered many of the show's most memorable lines. DiMaggio himself is leaning into the backlash. The actor has spent much of the day sharing about fans threatening to boycott and retweeting accusations that Hulu is lowballing Bender. So that's just sort of it's sort of a weird situation, isn't it, Alan?
It is. I don't know if I'd boycott if there's no John DiMaggio, but it would be weird. I don't think you can replicate his work.
No, you cannot. You cannot. And sorry, I'm just fucking around with the windows here, guys. But yeah, I agree, man. It wouldn't be the same without him as Bender, but he voices someone in Disenchantment, yeah.
Yes, the dad, maybe, if memory serves.
The king, yeah, King Zog, yeah.
Yeah.
So what confuses me about that is, why doesn't he want to return for this? Why? Do you know much about what's going on?
I haven't heard too much as to why. I've heard there's just negotiation issues. Yep. So I'm assuming maybe they're not throwing enough money at him. But I mean,
I'm having a quick skim through this.
I feel if it's money, that's silly, because another season of Futurama would be a license to print some money. So
yeah, it's confusing to me as well, man, because there hasn't been this sort of communication breakdown with like any of the actors from Futurama previous, and they've rebooted it multiple times. I don't know, is he asking, I just want to know if he's asking for some crazy amount of money and then everyone else is like, no, or if he's getting less of a share than he usually would. And everyone else is getting paid more than I'd understand, you know what I mean? So yeah. I don't know, I'm a little confused on the whole circumstances, but I mean, I'd only just heard that Futurama was coming back today, let alone the fact that all this stuff is going with John DiMaggio. Like, so I mean, what are you hoping for Futurama? Are you hoping that it comes back? Are you hoping that it doesn't come back? Because as much as like I'm not a huge Futurama dude, like I love it, but like I wasn't a day one watcher by any means. I mean, I came late to the party with Futurama, but I thought it ended on a really nice note. And I thought it was one of the nicest endings to like a series ever, on the actual final finale we got. So what are your thoughts on it coming back and all that?
I'm in the similar place. Like, it ended, from what I recall, it ended fairly well and fairly completely. So I don't know. It's be interesting to see where they take that if they're bringing it back. But I mean, sometimes it works. Like, I've seen things like the TV show Lucifer, when they got axed, that ended on a pretty perfect note. And I thought when they brought that back, it was like, nah, it's not going to, like, you're going to undo some really good work here, but it was good, and I'm glad they did it. So you never know, they may be standing for something just as good here as well. Exactly.
It's weird though that this show can get buried so many times, but suddenly make its way back again and again and again and again. Like, usually a show, if it gets cancelled, it doesn't get renewed, and then if it does get renewed again by someone else, it doesn't last long, or it isn't the same, and it'll get canned, and then it won't make its way back to television ever again. You know what I mean? So I don't know. This had many more lives than I imagined it ever would.
Is this the third or fourth time around the block? I think fourth.
So Fox cancelled them once, and then got them back, then cancelled them again. Then they went to Comedy Central. Then Comedy Central cancelled them. I can't remember if that was the last or if we got one more cancellation from Comedy Central again. I remember it finishing on Comedy Central, I'm pretty sure. Does that sound right to you? Does that timeline sound right to you?
It sounds about right, yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, I'm looking forward to seeing it come back. I just hope that it still has the Futurama charm that it always has. I've been watching Disenchantment lately. I'm usually I sort of power through Netflix series once they get put up, because they get put up in one go. Usually I'll power through them, but because of my health problems I've been having lately, I haven't been able to maintain a lot of focus on doing one thing at a time. Like I've been kind of erratic. So I will be watching the rest of that, but I've also been, in the middle of rewatching Viva La Bam just because I've been in the Jackass mood since Jackass, and I don't want to watch the movie. We just watched the movies again. I was thinking about watching 2.5, 3.5 and all that. I don't know, but also we got Indiana Jones to watch coming up and stuff. So I'm stuck in this warp at the moment. As you can see, I re-downloaded Assassin's Creed fucking Origins because I just wanted to play an ancient Egyptian game after watching Indiana Jones the other day. I tell you, just things keep piling up, and I'm like, I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to do this. And it's hard to manage it all. I've been watching back Expedition Unknown again just because I'm on the hunt for treasure, just because of Indiana Jones again. So we can thank our Indiana Jones in review for getting me all fucked up and off schedule, but whatever. I really enjoyed rewatching it. It was really good. So we'll move into our next story. This is us. Well, have you seen it yet? Alan, have you seen the Jurassic World Dominion trailer yet?
I had a kind of watch while I was doing other stuff, so I've half watched it. So
I'm just going to go straight out and say it. I have not watched it yet. You're getting your straight up reaction from me, trailer reaction here. I like Jurassic Park. I'm a big Jurassic Park person. You guys have something to look forward to with that, which is that we will be doing all the Jurassic Park movies leading up to Jurassic World Dominion for ranked and reviewed when that is in June. That's in June. It's coming out early June, yeah?
Yes. Correct.
So
actually, the Jurassic World movies as well. They're going to be. I was thinking of watching them, but then when we're like, we'll do rank and review, I'm like, no, I'll pop my cherry on the new trilogy for the show. So it's going to be a good one for me.
It's going to be a long series because we got 1, 2, 3, Jurassic World, Jurassic Kingdom, and then Jurassic World Dominion. So yeah, it's going to be 6 movies long, which is. That'll be a longer series, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah, building up to our megathon of Halloween later this year. Jesus, it's going to run me into the ground, but let's do this. Let's watch this. This is the Jurassic World Dominion trailer reaction from us. 1 second. Share. And bring it up, and let's watch.
I wanted to show you something that wasn't you. Something that was real. Something that we could see and touch. Creation is an act of sheer will. Life will find a way.
We can't keep her here forever.
They find her whenever they see her again. We gotta protect her. That's our job.
Humans and dinosaurs can't coexist. We created an ecological disaster.
What the fuck?
Alan Grant.
You didn't come out all this way just to catch up now, did you?
You coming or what?
Oh, let's go, buddy!
We're racing toward the extinction of our species. We now lack dominion over nature. We're born into it.
Come back.
Come back. Don't move. Bigger. Why did it always have to go bigger?
Spicy.
Yeah.
So, that was well, I gotta turn my volume back up. I turned my volume down. That was impressive. It was impressive in many ways, but it was also head fuckingly. I just got head fucked just by a lot of things. Then, man, like, I mean, it's snowing and the dinosaurs, like, aren't they like hot blooded?
Yeah. Don't
Sorry?
think it would work too well for them. And I've questions as well as why do they think it would be a good idea to integrate dinosaurs back into the world? Like,
This has been my problem, man. This is what we talked about with Jurassic World when we first watched the
teaser
trailer back on an older episode. This is my problem that I've had, which is that was my problem with the ending of the movie, of the last movie, was what the fuck are we gonna do now? Like, it's confusing, man. Like, and also, how many did they ship? That's what I want to know. Like, how did they ship these? How did they ship that fucking megalodon thing that's in the ocean? I don't know. I have a lot of questions. But the movie looks like it's going to be a blast.
Yes.
It's cool to see the old crew back, like all of them basically. I don't know. What are your thoughts on it? You keep talking. I'm just going to continue to plug in my Ethernet cable because my connection is low like a motherfucker.
I don't have much to go on because I haven't seen the last two, but I am interested with seeing Sam Neill and Goldblum back. I think that's got me a little more excited than the last because I'm not the biggest Chris Pratt fan. So just on that, the new cast, I was kind of like, and never really got into it. But I like that they've got everyone back. And I also saw there's rumors that, is it Tim, the little boy in the first movie? I've heard rumors that he's going to be back as well, which is cool.
That'll be cool, man. That'll be really cool. I almost feel like, watching that trailer, there's so much jam-packed into that trailer that us watching it once like that is just we're not gonna see everything, we're not gonna notice everything. It's gonna be a couple of watches of that trailer, I think. But I think maybe what me and you could do is sort of rewatch it a couple of times and maybe revisit it in the next episode about what we might have noticed and what we haven't noticed and things like that, because there's just so much in that trailer that we would have to just keep pausing and pausing and pausing and pausing. And I think the whole episode would have turned out to be the trailer. So, which this show isn't all about. It's not always about one thing. So we can't just sit here and just... So, as you can see, that dinosaur over there, it has a hat on. So what are we going to do about this? What does that mean? Do you reckon that means Charlie Chaplin's playing a dinosaur? Anyways, I'm looking forward to that one. Well, let's move on to the Lightyear trailer, which I don't think there's going to be any "Let's Go Baby" moments for me in this, just because I wasn't. Look, I'm not saying this movie's going to be bad, and I'm not saying this movie's going to be good. I'm not saying this movie's going to be anything. All I'm saying is that when I watched it, this is not what I expected from the Lightyear trailer. When I first saw it, I was like, "What is this?" But let's give it a watch. I mean, hey, it could be one of those, moments where I'm like eating my own words, So let's have a look at the Lightyear trailer.
A year at work for a 4-minute flight. Isn't that something?
We're all ready. You are, sir. You are, sir.
Well, let's go find out.
We got a breach in the perimeter.
Thank you. Buzz Lightyear mission log. After a full year of being marooned on this planet, Our first test flight is a go. Let's get everyone home.
Good luck, Captain.
We're counting on you!
Roger that.
There's a star waiting in the sky.
Hello, Buzz. I am Socks, your personal companion robot.
We'd like to come and
We're being pursued by just a massive robot.
waiting in the sky. He's
That was utterly terrifying, and I regret having joined you. Buzz!
Lightyear!
Then all the children
I can provide sleep sounds if you like. I have several options. Summer night, ocean paradise, whale calls.
No. White noise is fine.
Very well.
Good night, Socks.
Good night, Buzz.
So that's yeah. I don't know. I want to hear your thoughts.
I'm hoping it's good. It's as you said, it's not what I expected from it, but yeah, it looks like it'll at least be worth watching. I think. I don't know if I'll go to see it at the movies, but I will see it.
I'm a little perplexed with the direction they took. Like, I'm really hoping that at the end we find out it is a kid playing with toys or something along those lines. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
See, the whole time I watched the first trailer of this, I thought to myself, is this like a prequel to Buzz going to Andy's room, like as a present, and this is like him, the mission, like, you know, talking to Star Command and all that, and this is what he's actually thought his life was, and then it goes into Toy Story and he realizes that he's nothing, or is this actually just a whole new take on the superhero? You know what I mean? Like,
My takeaway, I think it'll be cool if it is someone playing with the
not
toys.
superhero, but you know what I mean. So
Yeah, yeah. I think it would be cool if it did have that spin, but I have a feeling it might be just basically the character's show or movie that is from within the Toy Story world. So it's the actual Buzz Lightyear. I think it's the other thing, which is interesting. I think there was a cartoon in the late 90s or something that was along those lines. I never watched it.
Yep.
But it might be that. I think it's, which would make sense because he doesn't look like he's made out of plastic in this. He looks more like he's a person.
yeah, he does, eh? Yeah, I think that what you said is a good probably premise for what it will end up being, which is that it's like that's the movie or the TV show or whatever in that universe that the kids look up to, and that's why they buy the Buzz Lightyear toy. Yeah, you know what I mean? So, no, I like that. And you know what? It doesn't look bad. It looks good. I'm not saying, as I said, I'm not going to sit here and tell you it's a bad movie or it's a good movie. Like, from the trailer, it looks very fun. It looks watchable. It looks like it's got a good amount of action in it. It just definitely, the first time I watched it, it took me by surprise of the direction that they were taking Buzz Lightyear, because, I mean, do I have it here somewhere? Man, like, I've still got my Buzz Lightyear somewhere around here. Here you go. I've still got, look how gross this thing is, man. I've still got this Buzz Lightyear. Look at this. Look at him. He's seen better days, yeah? But this thing will never part with me, man, because I've had him since I was 8 years old. 9 years old, whenever Toy Story first came out. And I got him in Germany as well when I went to Germany. So Buzz Lightyear is a big childhood thing for me, you know. Toy Story was a big childhood thing for me. So when I first saw it, I was a little bit taken back. But after seeing the new trailer and seeing little bit more from it, I'm kind of understanding the premise and direction a little bit more and coming around to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Cool. So what we might do is move on to our next story, which I want you to talk a little bit more about, because you're kind of you're the one that sort of brought this to my attention, and that is, could we be getting a Wayne's World 3? Hit us with your best shot, Alan. What's been going on? What have you heard?
Yes. Well, there's not a lot of substance to it yet, but it's popped up that because years ago when Austin they had Dana Carvey and Mike Myers had a big falling out because I believe Dana Carvey had some character that was very similar to Dr. Evil and thought that Mike Myers had kind of ripped him off, so they had a feud that went for years. But apparently over the last 12 months, they've been on talking terms and been getting along again. So there's some rumors bubbling in the pot that we might be seeing a Wayne's World 3, which I think if you go by all the 90s trilogies that are being made now, like Bill and Ted, I think we could be seeing that. I reckon we're going to, maybe a couple of years, we're going to see Wayne's World 3.
Well, how long has it been since we've seen How long has it been since we've seen a Mike Myers movie?
Mike Myers, the last movie was
The Love Guru. The Love Guru, man.
Yeah, that was early 2000s, mid 2000s.
I never understood why he didn't do another Austin Powers.
I think the Love Guru flopped really hard, and he got a bit disenchanted with the whole movie scene, and which seems weird. Like I don't know why one thing would jade you so badly. Like maybe he just decided that's enough for him. But when you've had so many things that we've got Shrek, Wayne's World, Austin Powers, like these big iconic blockbusters. I don't get why one thing kind of let him down there.
Yeah, well, I mean, but I feel like that wasn't his only flop. There has to have been something else that flopped too.
There was So I Married an Axe Murderer, which I enjoyed, but I don't think it did super well.
Yeah, and yeah, Goldmember was definitely the most successful Mike Myers movie. Yeah, would have to have been.
Yeah,
because I know that the first Austin Powers movie had an audience, but not a huge audience, and I know that The Spy Who Shagged Me definitely got more of an audience, but the Goldmember, the third one, was definitely the one that sort of was mainstream, where everyone was waiting for it to come out, and that's where we, was it Beyonce that we got as
yes,
agent whatever in it,
Yeah, it was her.
And that's the one where we got Fat Bastard, and all that sort of stuff as well, yeah?
I think Fat Bastard was in The Spy Who Shagged Me. I think he was
Yeah.
in both of those, yeah.
Oh, well, there you go. Something you learn, new every day.
It's been a very long time since I've watched them, so I could also be wrong.
And I'm just going to quickly add on a story while we are here. And that is, one second. It's been some jargon out. It's been some jargon out, and why I quickly write this down.
So yeah, what else have we been going on in the world? Looking forward to. I haven't picked it up yet, but Dying Light 2. I've been hearing some very, very good things about. It's weird though. I'm excited for it, but I have a tower of shame of third person shooter kind of RPG games. So it's I think that's what's holding me back. I'm I want something other than that. But
yeah. I heard that the new one, the new Dying Light isn't what people were really looking forward to. I heard that it's kind of let people down in a lot of ways. I don't know. I haven't really been paying attention too much to that, or what's going on there. But
yeah. Oh, that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've heard that the open world elements are a bit different. That's all. So
Yeah.
I'm going to quickly bring this up, and that is that we are getting a brand new Assassin's Creed game called Assassin's Creed Rift. This is coming out apparently early next year, so maybe like January, February. This isn't, by the way, the footage you're seeing right now is not Rift. This is Valhalla. But Rift was originally going to be Valhalla downloadable content, and it has been extended into a full game with a Middle Eastern setting, and they said it's to fill a slot in the free space in their calendar from Ubisoft. So I think we're going to be getting. They said it's going to be a lot less bloated, a lot more focused. So I'm thinking we're going to start getting We're going to get an Assassin's Creed game more along the lines of what we got in the Ezio trilogy sort of length, which is like a 12 to 15-hour game. It's going to feature the same character from Assassin's Creed Valhalla. And as I said, it's in a Middle Eastern setting. So I'm interested to see what they're bringing with that. Have you heard anything of this, Alan?
I've only really brushed past it, and it made me giggle a little bit because the kind of the way that pitched from the article I scrolled past was like, new Assassin's Creed game featuring stealth gameplay. I'm like, shouldn't they all?
Yeah, it does say that. It does say focusing on stealth gameplay, and I'm like, I don't know if you guys have played any of the Assassin's Creed games, but they're all stealth. They're all focusing on stealth. So yeah, I don't know. I'm looking. What do you think about the Middle Eastern setting? I'm looking forward to the Middle Eastern setting because it hasn't been done that much. Except, I mean, you could kind of say Egypt, was a Middle Eastern setting, but Greek definitely not. I don't know. It's hard because they're not that far from being a Middle Eastern setting, those things. But I mean, where are you thinking if they go for a Middle Eastern setting, where that might be and what it might contain?
I actually don't know. I think they'll probably steer away from Egypt because they've kind of already done it. So I'd be thinking, I don't know, maybe India. Well, that's more Asia. That's not the Middle East. So
It is Asia. Yep.
Yeah, I really don't know. Maybe
could it be something like Israel?
Yep, I think it'd be. Although it'd be more Palestine, I think, for the time, because Israel was not a country back then. I don't think.
I'm just thinking of maybe where, like, where like the Wailing Wall, all the where it's where all like the religions meet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking. That sort of setting, maybe, because like I'm just thinking about the rooftops. You've got the big golden roof top. You've got like all those places. That's all Israel. Yeah. So
yeah.
Or Jerusalem, I guess.
Yeah, it will be. Yeah, I reckon probably likely. I think it'll be kind of focusing on.
I'm not good at my religion, so I'm just trying to remember just from ancient Egyptian things and stuff like that. So I mean, yeah, I think Jerusalem might be a good bet because that's Middle Eastern. So I don't know. That's my best guess. What do you think about that?
I think you'd be right. And it'd be interesting to see why they are going to the Middle East. If he's like, is it kind of going after Templars? What's going on here?
Well, that's where my theory comes in with the rift.
Yeah.
I'm thinking maybe something supernaturally where he gets into a rift where it takes him into a whole new land. Oh, you know what I mean? I don't know if that makes sense to you, but I'm just trying to take the name and what I know from the settings and the characters and thinking, well, why are they calling it Rift?
Yeah. Maybe. It's yeah.
So I'm thinking maybe it has like a time traveling thing, a rift that he steps into the Middle East. I has an artifact that takes him to the Middle East. Something along those lines that brings the Rift name into meaning, I guess, because as far as I can tell, I don't have no other idea why they call it Rift.
Yeah, no, it's I'm at a loss here as well. So it'd be interesting to find out why, where, and how. I guess.
Exactly. And we're going to move on to our last story for the episode, which is we could have had an Uncharted Sully game. Now, I'm going to read you an article from, this is from IGN. One second, sorry. I'm just sharing the wrong part of my screen. I was about to share you guys some pretty hectic porn just then. No, I'm joking. Whoop. Lucky I kept that fucking window down, but no. So basically, I'm going to read this article from IGN. Days Gone director wanted to make an Uncharted prequel starring young Sully. Days Gone director Jeff Ross wanted to make an Uncharted prequel. During an interview with Sacred Cymbals, my favorite podcast hosted by the one and only Colin Moriarty. During an interview with Sacred Cymbals via VGC, Ross explained what his Uncharted prequel would have been all about. Victor Sullivan, at the age of 25, is in a very stylized world where it would be around 1976. I think we figured out his age that's where his age might be. Then it says Sony Bend was one. He worked. Jeff Ross was the head director at Sony Bend, who did make Days Gone, by the way. Sony Bend was at one point reportedly working on a new Uncharted game, and while many thought it was likely an Uncharted sequel, it could have been that this was actually Jeff Ross's young Sully prequel, and it's certainly an interesting concept. He busted out of the Navy for reasons, and I thought seeing him young and trying to figure out his way in a world going from trying to be a soldier or a military man to now I'm just on the streets and I'm going to become a hustler, he added. After Sony failed to greenlight Days Gone 2, the director wanted to work on something new and began putting together ideas for this unmade Uncharted game. And given the upcoming Uncharted movie features a far younger Sully than we've seen in the games, it would have been a nice touch to see the iconic adventurer get his own globe-trotting game. The idea, Ross said, was that Sully would evoke a classic James Bond, a young, sexy Victor Sullivan, and would have been more like Sean Connery. Unfortunately, the concept soon ground to a halt, and it sounds though that's largely due to problems making it feel like an actual Uncharted game and not more just like a 007 game. So I thought that was sort of an interesting piece to talk about because we talk a lot about Uncharted on here, and I actually, when I heard that, thought that was a really awesome idea for a game. And an idea that Uncharted hadn't touched on and would have felt fresh. And I know he said that it didn't get off the ground because they couldn't have made it feel like an Uncharted game, but I feel like they could have easily made that feel like an Uncharted game. I mean, I know you don't know the most about Uncharted, Alan, and I know you're not the biggest Uncharted player or fan or whatever, but what are your thoughts on that sort of idea that we could have gotten that and like the direction it could have taken?
It sounds interesting to me, and I mean, I think if it's something the fans wanted, like yourself, like you're a diehard fan of the series, I think if someone like you could say it could have worked, I think they may be worried about it for the wrong reasons. Because it's a prequel, you're not necessarily recreating what's already been done. So, I mean, you've got that rumor, it could be a little bit different. Exactly.
It just felt, when I heard him say that, I felt like, and you know what? What I'll do is I will put copy and paste. Actually, I don't know if it's available. Okay, so I don't know if it's available live for people to watch yet. You have to be a Patreon to get some of these things that Sacred Cymbals do, and I'm a Patreon, so I watch all the stuff beforehand. If it's actually available for everyone to watch, I will copy the link into our description, so you can go check that interview out with Jeff Ross and Colin Moriarty from Sacred Cymbals. I feel like I bring a lot of stories in and a lot of stuff that I've heard them talk about into our show, so I feel like it's only fair that maybe I link you guys a little bit of their material as well, even though they don't need it. They are the biggest gaming Patreon podcast in the world. So they don't need it, but I just think it's a nice thing to do, I guess, because we do tend to get a lot of stories from them, and it's also a great podcast, so you should check it out. So if it's available, I will link it, everyone into it in the description. You can go check that interview out yourself if you're interested in seeing that. And yeah, I mean, that brings us to the end of the episode. Is there anything else you wanted to say, Alan, before we kind of go into the rigmarole of wrapping this up?
Well, that's about it, I think. Yeah, it's been a bit of a slow week from my perspective, I think, in terms of events. So hopefully get some new, fresh news coming over the next one. Well, I mean, we've got the Super Bowl coming up, so there's going to be some interesting stuff, I think, there.
We'll be talking a lot about the Super Bowl halftime show a lot in the next episode. And look, we may even do an emergency episode during the week just to ship one out about the halftime show if there's anything really notable worth talking about or something like that. Alan's just released his new episode of Nerdy by Nature, all on Moon Knight, the trailer, the comic book, what his predictions are, what we might expect from it. It seems that people are really enjoying it. How are you liking the reception so far, Alan?
No, it's been good. It's been good. I'm liking that people are digging what I'm doing there, kind of, and it's good to see it open because it's a little bit different from what we normally do. So I'm glad people are receptive and digging it. It's really
I mean, it's good, man. Look, our format's pretty consistent. We kind of, it's us two or whatever. We've got clips playing. We're talking about a certain subject. We're reviewing a certain movie. So it's nice to have your show kind of put a break into that sort of normal feel and have sort of a separation. And I mean, I've been talking to Alan lately that I'm probably going to do a show here or there occasionally, but I'm kind of working out my ideas at the moment. I'm thinking about maybe doing a show called 10 Things You Don't Know, where I talk about 10 things you might have not known from some of the biggest movies or games or music or TV. There's some other ideas I got kicking around that I wouldn't mind doing. And some bigger ideas that I want to work on too with Alan, where we might do some full feature length sort of, when I say feature length, I mean like maybe a 30-minute special documentary on, a series of movies or something like that, and kind of present it in a cool way or something like that. But just know that we are working on a lot more content for you guys. We're working on a lot more ideas. We're going to still stay consistent with what we're doing at the moment. And yeah, there's no shows being taken away at the moment. If anything, there's just going to be more shows added, so you can keep looking forward to all your favorites. And Alan, did you want to quickly tell everyone you're already hard at work on your next episode for Nerdy by Nature? Do you want to quickly tell everyone what you're going through over that?
Yeah, at the moment I'm scripting up a kind of a review and a bit of a talk about the Book of Boba Fett. I haven't done any filming yet, but I've also realised that I think this week is the last week of Peacemaker. So I think, I'm not sure what'll come first, either be Boba Fett or Peacemaker, but one of these will be coming at you hopefully by next weekend.
Awesome, man. Awesome. And for everyone that hasn't checked it out, it's been doing super well. Go check out our Jackass Forever review. Go check out our other Jackass reviews. And also, we've just done Indiana Jones Raiders of the Lost Ark for our ranked and reviewed series. Go check that out. That's up now. Next week, we're going to have, on Tuesday night, we're going to have the Temple of Doom review hit for ranked and reviewed. I'm looking forward to that. And this is all winding up to us reviewing all the Indiana Jones movies by the time the new Batman movie comes out, where we will be reviewing the Batman movie. We're not doing all the Batman movies because just the way the scheduling worked out, we just didn't have time to fit the Batman movies in and do it justice. So we're going to do the Batman movie, and we probably will end up doing the Batman movies ranked and reviewed in one day soon. But we have kind of a big schedule of ranked and reviewed. We've nearly almost got the whole year padded out of ranked and reviewed, just because we know what is coming up and what isn't coming up and things like that. So, I mean, I know you're excited for some of these events, aren't you, Alan? I'm excited.
Definitely.
A lot of them. So, anyways, as I said, if you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe down below. It would help us a lot. Growing the community is a big important thing to us, and it's great to see everyone interacting with each other and people interacting with us. And loving the content we're putting up, and just expect that we're going to keep doing it, and we're going to keep doing more and more and more. And yeah, eventually you won't even need Foxtel. You won't even need YouTube. You need YouTube. Let's just correct that. You need YouTube. That's where we're going to be. So yeah, hopefully one day maybe we'll start our own thing called MyTube. I don't know, man. But if you haven't also, go over to our Facebook page. Please go like our Facebook page. Follow us. Keep up to date. Interact. Hey, if you got requests for things you want us to do, request them. And hey, we'll try and fit it in if we can. And yeah, we hope you've enjoyed your week. And we will see you next time on Loud, a Pop Culture Podcast. Thanks. I'm your host, Tomye West. Joining me as always, Alannis Maximus.
Peace.
We'll see you next time.